What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Talk podcast by The Mental Corner. I decided today that for this episode, because the weather is so nice, I'm going to add a little change of scenery. So if you're watching on YouTube, how is it going? And if you're not, that is okay. Hopefully you still enjoy the sound of my voice immersed into nature. A little bit about me. I know I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I can't really say that I've been that busy. Basically just trying to stay sane during quarantine, exercise every day, keep some sort of schedule going. I watched the end of The Last Dance on Netflix, and if you haven't watched that yet, you have to go watch that. By far the best sports documentary I've ever seen. It's that documentary about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Wow, just great. Me and my dad really enjoyed that one. For sure, check that out. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. Nothing very exciting. As I'm sure all of you are kind of going through a similar situation. Things are opening up now though, so the future looks okay. It looks good. We're fighting through it, guys. We're doing well. So the topic today that I wanted to kind of talk about was, accepting retirement from the sport that you love and the mental strains that come with that. So for me personally, like growing up, there were so many times where I thought of quitting swimming. Like I was 100% done. I was like, you know what? I am for sure quitting this sport. I'm done with swimming. I'm moving on. And actually, like every swimmer I've ever met has at least thought of quitting once. Every single swimmer I have met has at least thought of quitting once. And if you say you have not thought of quitting swimming, and I know you're a liar, because that is not true. And I'm sure the number of athletes in all sports have kind of thought about quitting, and I'm sure that number is pretty significant. The thing is, I never did. So why didn't I quit? It's kind of like anything else in life. Something you love so much seems almost impossible to live without. I had swum since I was 10 years old, so over a decade of swimming. Other sports, other hobbies, they came and went, but the one constant through everything was swimming. Swimming was there, through when my parents got divorced, when I was officially diagnosed with depression, going into university, when I graduated high school. Like swimming was the one constant when everything in my life would ever change, through breakups, through friendships, like all of that. Swimming was the one thing that was always there. So all my life I had been kind of known as the swimmer in my friend group in high school. So to think about life without it was just horrifying. Excuse me while I flip the page. This is not off the top of my head, if you can believe it. I actually ramble this much with writing. Oh, hello. The wind's picking up. That's nature for you, folks. So yeah, sorry. So the thought of quitting swimming was absolutely horrifying. It had become everything I knew and everything I was really known for. So it almost seemed as though, without swimming, there was no me. So how did I know that it was really time to let go of the sport that I loved? The decision by no means was easy. It was so hard to finally go, it's time to go. Despite all the times I'd contemplated quitting and, trying to find another sport to keep me occupied, I did love swimming. I know for some people it'd be kind of hard to believe because of how much I complain and how much I'm like, I for sure am going to quit swimming. I hate swimming. But, through all of the times I said that, through all the frustration, the blood, sweat, and tears, I loved the sport. I still love the sport. Like, it's gonna always have a special place in my heart. And at the peak of my love, I got injured. Bad. Anyone who really knows me has definitely heard about my back injury, because I'm sure I ramble about it a lot, as I do with most things. But years of getting hit in rugby, lifting weights too heavy, not stretching sufficiently, had finally caught up to me and kind of sent me crashing to a halt in last March 2019. When I would go swim, my back would seize up and I would lose feeling in my legs. I couldn't swim longer than 500 meters without having to get out and lie on the pool deck. And for all my non-swimming friends, 500 meters is nothing. It's less than half of a warm-up. So just to give you a little idea of, the amount of swimming I could do. So my future in the sport, given all of this, did not look promising at all. And it kind of sent me into this like mental thought of this is my time. I am for sure quitting now. Excuse me while I sip some coffee. Oh, I got some ASMR up in here. I'm sure that sounded delightful. I wish I could edit these, but these are one take for you, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, my future did not look that promising. I'd actually gone to my coach back home, like at my age group coach in Whitby, and I said, you know what, I am for sure done. I'm quitting. Like I've had enough. I stopped swimming, and I kind of decided to just accept the fact that I would never swim again. It was like a for sure thought in my head. So that's kind of when the fear set in. Who was I? Who was I without swimming? All I'd ever known was swimming, and I only had 1 year of varsity left anyway. What would people think if I quit the sport early? Would I be judged? Would they exclude me from the sport completely because I was a quitter? And looking back, like, these thoughts are ridiculous. My teammates were so supportive. If I had to quit because of a back injury, they were not going to exclude me from, the friend group, from the swimming community. That was never going to be a thing. But, at the time, like, those were the thoughts in my head, and they terrified me. Like, I convinced myself, like, if I quit now, I'm nothing. So I stuck with it. I became captain of the university team. I graduated from the sport at the end of the year with the people that I came in with 4 years prior, and kind of just ended on a note that made it a lot better than if I had quit the year before. So I'm happy I did that. Was the year easy? Hell no. The year was so hard. It seemed almost impossible at times to kind of push through the pain, not including the fact that, I was really low mentally. So it was not an easy year by any means. Were the results everything I had expected in my final year of the sport I loved? Not even close. If you had told me even like 2-3 years ago, this is how your career is going to end, I would have thought you're just saying that to you're just saying that to get me sad, and I'm not going to listen to you. But yeah, it's not how I expected it to go at all. But I was happy I did it. I left the sport confident that, I had physically given it my all, given it all my body could have given. And even if it wasn't super fast times or medals at championships with my team, like, I was happy to go out the way I did, even if it wasn't, a dream ending by any means. So the point I'm really trying to get at here, sports are talked about extensively, both positively and negatively, by all different kinds of outlets, by all different kinds of people. What's not really talked about enough is the feeling after you quit. The emptiness you feel when the sport you've dedicated years upon years to is gone from your life. That's not talked about enough. Did I despise my 4:30 a.m. alarm every morning of the week? Yes, I hated it. I got so mad whenever I would hear it in the morning. But not having to wake up early at all anymore kind of felt strange. Like I mentioned, just a little while ago, a couple minutes ago, without swimming, it felt like there was no me. And I felt as though my self-identification was nothing without swimming. I genuinely thought I was nobody. Like, my Twitter handle is SwimmerBoy98, so if that should tell you everything you need to know about how I thought of swimming. Myself in swimming, sorry. The exact thought, the lack of self-identification, is kind of why it's so hard for athletes once they're done in their respective sports. The grand majority of the time, they've been in the sport so long that that's all they know. They know the early morning grind, the commitment to health and exercise, the team travels, the rush of excitement at competitions and victories, the pains and frustrations of losing and bad practices. When all of this disappears, what do they have? Who even are they? These are questions that kind of go running through their minds. And with no self-identification anymore, it can be so easy to not only fall into a depression, but also fall into this groove where you have nothing but negative thoughts. And it's very easy to feel completely lost once you're done with your sport. And that's not talked about enough. So, and another thing they don't really tell you is that feeling passes. For sure it passes. Just like ending a long-term relationship with someone you thought was the one, you know what I'm talking about, or graduating from your dream school after all those hours of hard studying, stress, hours of putting the work in, studying for tests, crying in the library, all of that, it's just like that. You gain a little weight, you feel this sense of loss, and then you find something else that makes you feel an equal amount of, if not more than before, passion and excitement. That's kind of the point, the grand point, aside, put all this rambling and stuttering aside. That's kind of the point I wanted to get to you guys. Retirement is hard. It is. No matter what age you are when you retire from a sport, retirement is hard. It's hard to gain some weight after dedicating so many hours of staying fit and looking good. It's hard to accept the fact that you're done your career in the sport you love. But when something else comes around, it almost makes you wonder why you were so heartbroken in the first place. Flip page. You were way more than the sport you associate yourself with. Even if it doesn't feel like it right away, you have way more characteristics than athlete. And it's focusing on these other characteristics and finding hobbies that interest you outside of your sport world. These types of activity, these types of exercises can help tremendously with retirement. It definitely helped me with retirement for sure. So for anyone struggling to let go or struggling after having let go, once you're over that hump, that low period, that period of I am nothing without this sport, what am I even doing? I am nothing. Once you're past that hump, it's so much easier. I'm definitely more confident in myself now than I was when I first retired. I can tell you that for free. And it's been several months and I seem to be doing okay, even if I do have the back of an old man, but that's besides the point. I'd like to say I'm doing okay for myself. And you guys will too. So if you just recently retired, if you're still, trying to find yourself after retiring from your sport, if you feel like you should maybe go back to the sport because you have nothing else to give, I promise you those thoughts are going to go away. The hump is going to, pass, and you're going to feel a lot better about yourself soon. It passes. I promise you that. So that's it for today. Kind of a short one. Very stuttery. I'm sorry. Kind of just, I was trying to freestyle it and have it written at the same time. It didn't really work. That's not how my brain works, but that's besides the point. If you're still listening, I appreciate you through all the stuttering. Thank you. I'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe this video. Go check out other ones on my YouTube. I've got more episodes of the H Panel. Season 1 just ended. 10 episodes with some really amazing guests. Season 2 will start up next week. I got some downtime episodes with my brother and sister where we just kind of mess around, for a couple minutes of the day, because it's important to have a little downtime from all the media and all the negativity around right now. And yeah, that's it. There'll probably be another podcast soon if I don't act so loafed about it. And yeah, also, side note, if you haven't seen it already, I am auditioning to be on Survivor. Why? I don't know. I thought it would be fun. And it would actually be a dream come true to be on Survivor. Little Harry would be so excited. Little 12-year-old me who used to binge watch that show would be so excited to be on. So if you guys could go check it out, like the video, share it, that would mean the absolute world to me. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.